And in this particular video, I have a nice basic algebra equation. So the objective here is to find the solution or solutions to this equation. Now, I don't want to give you too many hints here because I want to give you a full opportunity to solve this all on your own. So if you know the answer to this particular problem, if you can solve this equation for x, go ahead and put your answer into the comment section. I'm going to show you the correct answer in just 1 second. And then, of course, I'm going to solve this step by step. But before we get started, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is John, and I have been teaching middle and high school math for decades. And if you need help learning math, well, check out my math help program at tcmathacademy.com. You can find a link to that in the description below. And if this video helps you out, or if you just enjoy this content, make sure to like and subscribe, as that definitely helps me out. Okay, so we have x over 2 is equal to 2 over x. It seems pretty basic, right? This is something that you might see like in a, well, you may not see this type of equation in like a pre-algebra course, and I'll tell you why in a second, but you would definitely see this like in an Algebra 1, a first-year algebra course. It doesn't seem that difficult. However, a lot of you are going to get this wrong. But let's go and take a look at the answer right now. What is x? Well, I'm going to give you 3 options here. Okay, so let's suppose this is a multiple choice exam. Now, if you said 2, well, that's pretty good. Okay, however, that's not the entire answer. Now, if you answered -2, well, that's pretty good, but that's not the entire answer. In fact, the entire answer is both 2 and -2. So x is equal to positive and -2. Now, if you're a little bit confused on this, I'm going to clear that confusion up in just 1 second. But if you got this right, that is fantastic. Matter of fact, let's give you a nice little happy face, an A plus, a 100%, and a few stars so you can tell your friends and family that you know how to solve a basic quadratic equation. And that's what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with quadratic equations. And those type of equations can look something like this. X squared is equal to 4. Matter of fact, that's what this particular equation turns into. But they can, they obviously can look more sophisticated. They can look like this. 2x squared minus x plus 9 is equal to 0. So solving quadratic equations is a big part of algebra, and there's various methods and whatnot, which I'm not going to get into. But if you need help with, linear equations, quadratic equations, there's a ton of different type of equations in algebra. Then let me go ahead and suggest a couple courses for you. I would probably just direct you towards my Algebra 1 course. I also have additional videos on my YouTube channel that can help you out with any of this stuff. But let's go ahead and get into the solution now. And the first thing we want to recognize is, well, the first thing is really to recognize that this is 2 equal fractions. Okay. Now I did mention that this is a quadratic equation, but really another way to look at this, you can view this as a proportion. Okay. Now a proportion is one fraction that's equal to another fraction. That's what we call a proportion in mathematics. Now specifically, it's one fraction equal to another fraction, not something like this, x over 3 plus, let's say, x plus 1 over 2 is equal to 7. This is not a proportion because we're not dealing with, let's make this into a fraction actually, something like that. This is not 2 equal fractions. Okay, we got a fraction here, and another fraction here. Now we could kind of combine all this and construct a scenario where we have 2 equal fractions, but I don't want to kind of go off on too much of a tangent here. Well, you need to recognize that this is one fraction and it's equal to another fraction. So in mathematics, again, we call this proportion. Now, let's take a look at a simple example of one fraction that's equal to another fraction. How about 1/2? Okay, now can we think of a fraction that's equal to 1/2? Well, sure, we can think of something easy like 2 over 4, because 2 over 4 we can reduce into the fraction 1/2, right? But the value of both of these fractions are the same. Okay, so they are the same value, just different fractions. Okay, but they are equivalent. All right, so again, this is a proportion. Now, the main idea when you have a proportion is something called the cross product. Okay, this is a property of proportions. There are other properties of proportions, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you remember the cross product, you'll be able to do 99.9% of proportion problems. So the cross product, let me go ahead and write that out here real quick. Cross product, okay. So the cross product is basically exactly what it says. You're going to find the product diagonally, crosswise, right? So 1 times 4 is going to be equal to 2 times 2. So when you have a proportion, the cross products are equal. Okay, now there's some other things that you might have heard about when you study proportions called the means and the extremes, and there's other properties of proportions. That's for additional videos, but again, if you remember this, you'll be able to solve almost all proportion problems. So when we have two equal fractions, the cross product is true. In this simple example, again, 1 times 4 is equal to 2 times 2. 1 times 4, of course, is 4. 2 times 2 is 4, so this is a true statement. Okay, so this is what we want to keep in mind to solve this particular equation. All right, so here I'm like, okay, two equal fractions, and I'm thinking about the cross products, which means that the cross products are equal. So x times x right here is going to be equal to 2 times 2. All right, so x times x in algebra, we would write that as x squared, and of course 2 times 2 is 4. All right, now at this point, we have x squared is equal to 4. Now at this point of the problem, this is where you can clearly identify this as a quadratic equation. Now, not to get overly technical on you, but a quadratic equation is basically a second degree polynomial. It's a polynomial where the highest power is 2. So in algebra, there's a little theorem. It's not really little. It's actually very, very important. It's called the fundamental theorem of algebra. I know it sounds kind of scary, but basically that says that anytime you have a polynomial, the degree or the highest power of that polynomial is how many solutions that particular polynomial equation will have. So here we're dealing with a second degree polynomial equation. So we are looking for two solutions. Okay, so if you had something like, oh, let me make something up, like 5x cubed minus x squared plus x minus 1 is equal to 0. This is a polynomial equation. Its highest power is 3. It's a third degree polynomial equation. So we're looking for 3 solutions. Okay, there will be 3 solutions. And this is, of course, a little bit more advanced. But this is why you need to kind of connect the dots when it comes to algebra. There's a lot of different type of equations and concepts that you always want to keep in mind. Okay, so x squared is equal to 4. So, right off the bat, some of you, might say, oh, okay, x squared. So to solve this, I just simply need to take the square root of both sides. Now, if you took the square root of both sides and you said, okay, the square root of x squared is x, and the square root of 4 is 2, well, a lot of you probably made that mistake, and that's okay. I'm glad that you made that mistake with me because I'm going to clear that up. If I asked you all by, just a plain problem, I said, hey, what is the square root of 4? Okay, not x squared is equal to 4, just what's the square root of 4? Typically, you'll answer that with 2, okay, the positive root of the square root of 4. Okay, now the square root of 4 technically is positive negative 2, but when you're dealing with just plain square roots like this, you're going to answer with something called the principal square root, which is the positive version of it. But anytime you are taking the square root of both sides when you're trying to solve a quadratic equation or any other type of equation, you're looking for what we call the roots or the zeros, and we know that we're looking for 2 solutions here. So we're going to use both the positive and negative as the answer to the square root of 4, right? Because positive 2 times positive 2, of course, is positive 4, and negative 2 times negative 2 is also a positive 4. Okay, so again, 2 solutions to this equation. But just as a little side note here, if you were just kind of like, given the problem, hey, what is the answer to the square root of 9? And if you said 3, that would be perfectly fine. Now, some teachers, if you were given the square root of 9 and you said positive negative 3, they would still give you full credit. But again, here, what we're looking for in these type of problems is typically what we call the principal square root. Okay, so again, positive and negative 2 is the solutions. And let's just go back to our equation here, right? So if we had a positive 2, okay, we put a positive 2 right here and right here. If we're just checking these solutions, we're going to end up with 2 over 2. That's going to be equal to 2 over 2, right? Because we're going to place these x's with 2's, so that'll be 1 is equal to 1. Now, if we use negative 2 right here and right here, get that other solution, I'll have a negative 2 here and a negative 2 here. Now I have a negative divided by a positive, which is negative, and a positive divided by a negative, which is, of course, negative as well. So negative 1 is equal to negative 1. So if you felt inclined to check these solutions just to kind of verify what I'm saying, there you go. Okay, that's how you would check that. But again, remember, something as simple as this can have all kinds of little interesting details going on. But here's the deal. Anytime you're studying mathematics, especially algebra, geometry, more advanced algebra, math builds upon itself. It's cumulative, and all these little details, they continue to come into play. So anytime you're learning something in math and you feel like, I didn't really understand that, and I don't really need that for the future, I can just kind of hopefully get away with not knowing that. That's generally not going to be the way it works out. Okay, so if you're having difficulty with anything in mathematics, you want to go back and relearn and improve as best as possible. Okay, so with that being said, I definitely wish you all the best in your mathematics adventures. Thank you for your time and have a great day.